Welcome to the Microsoft webinar hosted by Bett. We're going to be checking out magnificent ideas to boost social and emotional learning. G'day everybody, Mark Sparvell here from Microsoft Education, and as a principal and an educator, one thing I know for sure is that schooling is an emotional roller coaster. And it kind of makes sense. Learning is social. Every time that we share ideas or resources with someone, every time we question someone, observe and work with somebody, we're engaged in social learning. Speaking of social, if you're not following me on Twitter, my handle's below. Don't forget, if you're sharing out about this session, hashtag Microsoft EDU, you can also find the Bett handle down below. To continue the conversation, consider joining the Social and Emotional Learning and Education group on Facebook. A short link is available on the screen. Over 10,000 people are already there sharing best practice and next practice. Here's a quick question. How are you feeling at the moment? The link is on the screen, plus I'll also be popping it in the chat pane. Feel free to engage with us via chat during the session. Many of our speakers that you'll hear from in this session will be live on the chat answering your questions. But take a moment to respond. How are you feeling at the moment? Back to social learning. Social learning is a continuous process of learning from other people. Whenever we observe, ask questions, share ideas, resources, it's social learning. And because of this, emotions matter. Emotions are literally the gatekeeper of our attention, our motivation, and our cognition, how we think, to motivation, why we do what we do, and to attention, where we direct our most scarce resource, our time and focus. In a world increasingly complex and uncertain, social and emotional skills, those skills that allow us to self-regulate and navigate social settings and conflicts, build relationships and make responsible decisions, are critical to prepare students for the demands of an increasingly complex world, to achieve key outcomes and maintain well-being and contribute positively to society. But how do you get more of the good stuff? We asked teachers in a recent survey with YouGov what was it that they needed to know more about to help students. And educators from across 3 countries said they needed to know more about the complexities faced by students in and out of the school. They needed to know more about the emotional state of the students, how they were feeling, and they needed to know what was motivating the students. So how do you build social and emotional skills? How do you get more of the good stuff? There are 5 key ways, and you're going to find examples of those coming up from our amazing speakers. Number 1, you must build an emotional vocabulary. As Mark Brackett from the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence says, you must name it to tame it. Number 2, you need opportunities to practice, to rehearse, and to simulate, whether that's face-to-face or in a virtual world. Number 3, you need to have a chance to observe somebody who is skilled in working socially or managing conflict. Number 4, you must be able to give and receive feedback and create a space for that. And 5, really important, provide chances for students to engage in self-reflection and self-assessment of their social and emotional skills. Now we're going to hear some amazing ideas from some of my favorite global educators, which pick up on some of these ways that social and emotional learning is both taught and caught, and using technology in really creative, exciting and engaging ways. Let's hear from them.
Hi, my name is Charity Nix, and I'm an MIE expert and global Minecraft mentor from the United States, and I currently live in Minnesota. I've been in education for over 20 years and have had many different roles. Currently, I'm an information technology specialist for North Dakota Information Technology EduTech, and also a professional learning specialist with NCCE. Today, I am so excited to share a tool with you, and that tool, as you might have guessed from my background, is Minecraft Education Edition. You may have heard of or may be familiar with Minecraft. However, the Education Edition is based on a Bedrock edition and is specifically geared towards effective and accessible use in the classroom. One of the many wonderful things about Minecraft Education Edition in the classroom is the educator does not need to be a Minecraft expert or even a gamer for that matter to use it as a learning tool. The students will naturally take the lead and also teach their peers to better their skills. When working with new teachers that are not familiar with Minecraft, one of the first questions they have is, how does this connect to my curriculum? Well, my response is not only does it connect to your curriculum and standards, but it also teaches students many life and workforce ready skills in a unique way. So this is where I will take them to the education website at education.minecraft.net. And it'll take them under Find a Lesson. And under Find a Lesson, we're going to scroll down to search all lessons. And here, when you are able to see all lessons, there's a couple of ways that you can filter through. You can search by subject and grade, or you can search by educational standard. But before I even get them into their specific curricular topic, I go right into the SEL lessons. Now, the lesson that I'm going to focus on is called the Mindful Night. It encompasses all of what SEL really is and allows students to learn skills as they navigate through various challenges in the process of becoming a knight. What is so powerful is that students are learning to be aware and acknowledge their emotions as they move from challenge to challenge. They are also developing good coping skills by learning how to react and regulate thoughts based on these emotions as they're feeling them, all while being in a modality that they absolutely enjoy. In this lesson, students start with interacting with Queen Serenity, and they get direction about how to complete the various challenges to achieve knighthood, which also consists of having to defeat the dragon in its lair at the end. As students go through the different challenges, they have the ability to write and reflect on their various emotions and how they feel during the process through the challenges and after. This is just one of the many great resources that are found on the Minecraft Education Edition website. The Mindful Night, check it out. It is a great lesson for SEL.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you're accessing this wonderful webinar from in the world. My name is Shannon Stephen, and I'm a Wellbeing Consultant for Catholic Education in Western Australia, or CEWA as we affectionately like to abbreviate to. Before I formally start today, I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which I present to you from today, which is the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, and I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. A little bit about myself. I'm a school psychologist who's been working in schools across this wonderful state for the past 15 years. Currently I'm working as a wellbeing consultant for CEWA in schools all over WA to help them on their wellbeing journeys and to really help with the implementation of positive psychology and other evidence-based wellbeing strategies. I'm also really fortunate to be part of the Reflect team at CEWA, which is actively working with Microsoft as part of a pilot program in CEWA schools to help test and develop the Reflect app. And look, for us, the main aim is to make sure that we can make wellbeing more measurable, visible and improvable in the classroom setting. And the Reflect app is what we're going to be focusing on today. So what is Reflect? Reflect is an app that lives within Microsoft Teams and provides a digital space where students can safely practice emotional self-reflection. It is important to note that the Reflect app is evidence-based and has been built from a foundation of strong research. I think that as educators, we always like to know that the work we're doing is best practice, and Reflect is definitely one of those tools. Reflect uses an individual sign-in, and when prompted by the teacher or of their own accord or as part of an established class routine, students can record their feelings and the details then associated with the emotion. So we're going to have a little bit of a look now. So if you have a look here, you can get a sample of what Reflect looks like. The Reflect app asks students how they are feeling and then displays a set of emojis that they can select. They then get, from once they've selected one of those emojis, they then get 5 words that drop down from that emoji to describe the feeling from which the emoji has been selected. So which words are most relevant that link with that emoji. And those change over time as well to really help build that literacy. And in the next slide here, you can see what a teacher would see after a reflection has been recorded in the classroom, and you can see the breakdown of emotions by percentages of solutions experienced in that emotion. If you have a look in this next slide here, you can see how you can have it look a bit differently, for a bit more visual. you can have a look at it in a graph and you can hover over and get more details there. So here you can see a real individual breakdown of what's happening for individual class members and what kind of feelings they're experiencing and reporting over time, which is really helpful. The next slide here is about the community function, which basically is where you can customize the level of data sharing. So either it could be just a teacher could be looking at it, or there could be other relevant staff members in the school that might want to have a look at that data as well. So if you have a look here, another really helpful feature is the analytics. This is the real more specific kind of breakdown, which really allows educators to understand the overall trend in their classes or to focus in on specific students. It can only help to get a snapshot of classroom and school climate, but provide a tool that can identify young people who might be doing really well or alternatively might be struggling and might need more individualised support. And look, part of the really great thing about Reflect is that you can really track students over time, and one of the things that we were wanting to make sure is that no students were being left behind. And so part of our rollout, we made sure that staff had lots of training, we did some presentations, and we had lots of handouts to help them really understand what kind of things they might need to do if a young person was really struggling with their wellbeing. And this is an example of one of the flowcharts that we gave staff so they'd know how to respond if a student was experiencing distress. So why wellbeing? Why Reflect? And look, wellbeing can be defined as feeling good, functioning well, and doing good for others. But it is more than that. It is much more than that. It's not only personal or individual wellbeing, but our relationships with others and our organisations, places of work, communities, and schools. And look, our emotions and wellbeing in itself can be quite ephemeral and quite hard to measure. And our overarching aim in the wellbeing team in Catholic education is to make wellbeing more visible, measurable, and improvable. And the Reflect app really helps to provide a practical tool for us to do this. Research tells us that sharing feelings actively assists students with their own self-regulation and awareness, as well as building emotional literacy. It really enhances their ability to label their feelings, recognise feelings, and express their feelings. Over time, it is hoped that students better understand the whys of their emotions and therefore how to better regulate their emotional states or how to tolerate the distress that might pop up in the course of their day. And look, we know that there is a significant connection as well between emotions and emotional regulation and learning. If a student's in survival mode or fight, flight, freeze, they might be, or maybe they're experiencing a really intense emotional experience, they might be unable to actually participate academically. And we also know that young people present at school with varying life experiences, and some unfortunately have experienced adverse life experiences which not only impact on their well-being but their ability to learn. And look, something like Reflect can really help to establish a sense of psychological safety in the learning environment and really also help to support trauma-informed practices. We know that a key component of wellbeing is creating and cultivating meaningful connections and positive, respectful relationships. Reflect gives voice to students who struggle to participate via traditional methods and provides them with another way to interact. And look, Reflect also helps to enhance connectivity and help to foster the emotional climate needed for positive and successful student learning and wellbeing. It also helps promote group cohesion and build the skills for young people to be able to recognise their emotions and also seek help when needed. If young people are feeling safe, valued and heard, they are more likely to be ready to learn and more likely to do better as a whole. The Reflect app not only helps to facilitate sound, emotional literacy and self-awareness, but also allows students to have a voice and really promotes that sense of belonging as well. And look, something like the Reflect app is really important in our current global climate. It has been used successfully in our CEWA schools, both in traditional face-to-face methods, but really teachers found it really helpful during periods of online learning to really understand what was happening for students and where they were at when they weren't face-to-face in front of them. So in summary, Reflect is a really helpful complementary tool for SEL programs and provides a guided practice in the daily implementation of essential concepts such as emotional literacy, which can make other wellbeing curricula even more impactful. So where to from here, you're asking? Look, please check it out. There's a really great website you can click into, which is Education Reflect, and there's lots more information on here, some handy videos, some visuals, and you can learn lots more about the Reflect app from this website. So thank you so much from me. If you'd like to get in contact and would like to learn a little bit more about Reflect or about the work I'm doing over in WA, please don't hesitate to drop me a line. via email. But thank you so much for the opportunity to present today. All the best with your wellbeing journeys. Take care.
I'm Monica Joshi, and I'm the IT head at Satpal Mittal School, India, and I'm MIA expert. And today I'm going to talk about the use of SEL stickers in OneNote. And before that, I would like to tell you what OneNote is. OneNote is a digital notebook which allows the students to work both offline and online. In this, the teachers are able to assign and track the work given to the students, and they're able to provide immediate and real-time feedback also. It helps the students in self-management by organizing their learning and also develop relationship skills by working collaboratively in OneNote. So before that I move further, I would like to tell you that why I use digital stickers and what is the need of that. Digital stickers helps the students to identify their different emotions. It helps them to understand the healthy expressions of emotions and also motivate and encourage the students to have a positive mindset, establishing connections with the emotions and experiences. It also helps in decision making, and daily recognition helps the students in learning the new skills in lifetime. So how to get the SEL sticker packs in OneNote? That's very easy. All you have to do is you have to click on Insert in the OneNote ribbon and then click on Stickers and then select the social emotional sticker pack and choose the sticker and get it added to the OneNote page or the work of the child which you are reviewing. So I'm sharing an example here of the quality circle time wherein I have used the SEL stickers. And quality circle time is an activity which helps the students to learn skills of their lifetime. Generally, this activity is done in an open area when the children are in the school, but during this remote learning time, this activity was done online on Teams. Herein, what the teacher has done, she has created a recipe of the happiness to make the students realize that what is the importance of happiness. And then she created her own recipe, as you can see on the screen, that her recipe of happiness is that a large smile, 2 cups of sweetness, 1 cup of thoughtfulness, 3 cups of humor, and 5 cups of positive energy, and 10 cups of persistence, and a pinch of luck. So she created this recipe with the help of SEL stickers, and then later she told the students to self-reflect and create their own recipe and then post it into the class notebook. So here are the students' responses wherein they submitted and they reflected that what does happiness means to them, and they created their own recipe of happiness. And this activities was primarily focused on the students of the primary group. Let me shift my focus to the another group now. This QCT activity was done with grades 6 to 8, wherein they had to create the recipe of the success. It's vital that students should know that what are their strengths and what are their weaknesses. Students were supposed to pick up the stickers to create what they think is the recipe to success, and so it's a visual reminder for them that what are the areas they have to work upon. The next use case is wherein the SEL stickers have been used as rubric for the project evaluation. Other than like marks, teacher has used the criteria using these stickers, and instead of giving the marks, she gave the stars. She fixed the range of marks and has given the stars to award the evaluation of the project. So here is the students have submitted the project, and on the right side you can see how the teacher has assigned the marks to the students, and she assigned the stars to the team as well as to motivate the each student of the team. She has assigned the star to individual student also. Inculcating leadership skills is very important amongst the students. So for that, we at Satpal Mittal School have a process called House Council, wherein the students are elected as the head boy, head girl, captain and vice captain, wherein they are assigned the duties and given the responsibility to perform the certain tasks. So here you can see that SEL stickers like responsibility, respect, motivation and empathy have been used as the criteria of selection. So this year we used the SEL stickers for the voting, and the 50% weightage was given to that. So the students were given the responsibility and right to elect their own member of the council. We use SEL sticker during the parent-teacher interaction also. So here is the record of one of the students wherein the teacher has given the strength and area of improvement and her recommendations for each subject, and to have positive reinforcement, she has awarded the sticker to the child for the motivation. The parent is also happy and he has done the commitment that he'll be working with the child on the recommendations given by the teacher. So I have few takeaways for the teachers, that is, start using OneNote and start assigning assignments using the OneNote and review the assignments using the SEL stickers. It's vital that we teachers are aware that using SEL stickers, we guide the students to reflect on and identify their feelings, and also helping them building the self-awareness as they participate in the collaborative environment. It is imperative that we teachers should change and use technology for humanizing learning, and for this SEL stickers play an important role, not only to deal but also to help the students to understand their emotions, which is pivotal. OneNote with its diverse features is definitely an empowering tool, making the teaching learning more effective and meaningful in the post-pandemic time. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Alberto
And I'm Mario.
and we are known as the E-Twins in the education community, and we are here today to talk about one of our biggest passions, social and emotional learning, and how to enhance it with the use of technology.
In this case, how to use OneNote to enhance social emotional learning. But what is OneNote, Alberto?
OneNote is a digital notebook that allows us to do many things. We can insert pictures, we can take notes, we can complete assignments, many things. And one of our favorite features of OneNote is digital inking. So Mario, what is specifically digital inking?
Digital inking is the ability of writing, drawing, painting with your stylus or even with your finger on OneNote. As you can see on screen, it is so amazing because your students can complete an assignment, they can draw, they can paint if they want. It opens a huge world of new possibilities.
And one of these new possibilities is to complete the Wheel of Feelings. The Wheel of Feelings, Mario, looks great, but what is exactly the Wheel of Feelings?
Wheel of Feelings is a mood meter that our students need to complete every single day. The first thing that they do is match emotions with colors. Once they've done that, they need to color how they feel, what's their mood every single day. They do it the first thing in the morning.
And this looks really simple, but there is much behind it. For example, by talking about feelings, by labeling these feelings, we create this safe environment that our students need to express themselves, to talk about feelings.
It is also great to identify, to recognize those students who are suffering in silence. A lot of students have anxiety or have different problems, but they just don't say anything. So we as teachers don't know that they are struggling. So this is a great tool to identify those students and to put interventions in place and to help them out throughout all of this process.
This is key. Identifying those students that are struggling allows us to help them. We cannot help a student that we don't identify. This is an example of one of my students that was suffering of anxiety, and I had no idea. He was not telling me, he was not expressing that he was feeling bad. But thanks to the Wheel of Feelings, we could identify him and put some interventions in place. And after 4 months of working with him, with the family, with the counselor, with the psychologist, and all, of course, with the teachers, this is the final result. He was super energetic and excited to be in my classroom.
Okay, Alberto and Mario, all of this looks great, but how do I start with the Wheel of Feelings in my class? How do I start implementing this amazing tool? Well, the first thing is label the emotions. You need to explain to your students what anxiety means, happiness means, and to talk about that.
That's really important, and the first one who needs to talk about feeling is the teacher. We cannot ask students to do something that we don't do. We need to be the first ones who talk about feelings, the first one who express themselves, to create that safe environment that will allow students to do it. Also, this is called emotional granularity, which means we need to put the feelings into words, and in this case also into colors.
The second one would be complete the wheel of feelings. Your students need to complete the wheel of feelings, color how they feel every single day, and it needs to be part of your daily routine. Social emotional learning cannot be taught in isolation. It needs to be part of our daily routine. It needs to be part of our lessons every single day.
And then the third step, we need to monitor the wheel of feelings. We need to keep in mind that we are going to see fluctuations in the emotions. What we need to look for is patterns. We need to look for patterns, those patterns that show us that something is going on with that student. Also, if a student is having a bad day, we don't need to go and put interventions in place. We need to go ahead and talk to him and explain him that there are not bad emotions. Every emotion is important and has a key role in our life.
But there is a difference between having a bad day and see a pattern in a student's feelings. If you see that a student is having bad days every single day for the last 2 weeks, that is a pattern, and then we need to take action. We need to talk with the counselor, with the psychologist of our building, and then put some interventions in place to help this student to overcome these feelings and to improve his or her mood.
We want to leave you with a final reflection. What if we live in a world where the EQ was more important than the IQ?
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing, right, Mario? This is our hope for the future. We really hope you had a great time and you took a lot of things from these 5 minutes.
Bye, everyone.
Hi everyone, I'm Joe and I'm a first grade teacher.
And I'm Kristen and I teach 4th grade. And together we make up the Merrill's EDU.
Yes, we're coming to you from Naples, Florida, which is just on the southwest side of Florida.
And we strive every day to make teaching and learning interactive. Now this year with the pandemic, it's been very different. And we've really tried hard to focus on some specific SEL strategies.
Specifically with our own children, because we actually had the opportunity to have our own children in our class.
And as parents, we realize that a lot of times those older kids have the chance to talk with their friends through other means, but especially those young primary students, they really struggled during this time having a chance to share what they're feeling and thinking.
So one tool was extremely helpful throughout this whole experience.
Yeah, remote learning unfortunately happened through a screen, and one of our favorite tools that we relied heavily on was Flipgrid.
Yeah, Flipgrid allows us to rehearse, collaborate, create, represent, integrate, reflect, and support those students no matter where they're tuning in from.
If you're not familiar with Flipgrid, it's a video platform that allows students to communicate and talk back and forth through video responses.
Yeah, it creates this really cool web discussion.
One of the key components of SEL is the ability to communicate and foster those relationships. And so Flipgrid was a place where we housed a lot of these types of lessons, which we're going to share with you today. So one of them is the playground, Mr. Merrill.
Yeah, so it's just like a real playground where the kids have an opportunity to speak with one another and share whatever it is that they might be talking about throughout their day. Has no academic purpose, really, but it is moderated by the teacher, so the kids can then talk back and forth just as they would on a playground.
Which is so important when they're at home and they're not able to see each other. Another really cool lesson that we led with SEL was the kindness voicemail. Now you could do this as a surprise, maybe each week having a special character student. You could do it just on any day, but the whole premise behind this lesson was that kids leave kind messages for one another. They can be moderated by the teacher, but it's a really great way to uplift your peers, spread that kindness and just, do something nice for someone.
Yeah, and then we also had the graffiti wall.
Which the graffiti wall is a really fun way to get to know one another. You could definitely use this academically, but how cool. Share about your likes and who you are, where you live, the things you like doing, and Flipgrid has so many great features like the text that the kids can have a really fun time creating some kind of visual to go along with who they are.
This is really great if you have shy and reluctant students who maybe don't necessarily want to be on the camera. This works out perfectly for them.
That's a great point. Now, Mr. Merrill, I know as you get older, birthdays are not something you like to celebrate as much, but as kids, having your birthday during school is a huge deal. I remember it's for their own kids, it's one of those special days of the year, and when you're not in school, it can be really sad. So leave some birthday love. And you could do this whether you're in person or still virtual, but have the kids leave a fun birthday message and maybe surprise them. You can get parents on there. It'd be a really fun way just to show the value to the students of how much you care about them.
And that you didn't forget about them, right? Mm-hmm. We also have goal setting. This is really great to do in the beginning of the year. Have your students pick out academic goals they want to achieve, and then they can revisit that later on in the year and see just how much they've accomplished. It's really cool.
And the really fun thing about goal setting too is you can moderate it and keep it private. So it can be something that just you and the students do, but it gives them a platform and a safe place to kind of share how they're feeling about different things. Also, Two Truths and a Lie is a really fun lesson. You can make it academic too, but just to learn about your students, let them learn about you, share fun things. They get to kind of tell you two things that are true about them, maybe about their learning, what they like, and then one thing that's false. And then everybody gets to come in and respond back and forth to each other and share what they think the true or false things are. It's a really fun thing.
It's a great way to introduce the tool. Also, it is important to note that you can find a lot of these different topics right in the Flipgrid Discovery Library. So if these sound interesting to you, go grab them.
Yeah. Most importantly, if you take anything away from our presentation today, is that we want you to understand that you need to humanize this square, that there are real children sitting behind that screen. And yes, academics is important, and the learning that they're going to take from you is important, but knowing that you care about them and that they are special and valued is the most important.
That's right. No matter where they are, they can experience these different things in the classroom, at home. And so using a tool like Flipgrid really crosses that bridge and makes it easy for us to integrate. And so it's just a really great way for us to get to know our students.
You really hit it right there. We're learning about these tools for remote learning, but social emotional learning happens in the classroom too. And these same technology tools have a lot of value and can still be utilized when you are back in the classroom.
That's right. Well, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you spending some time with us. Thank you. We'll see you again next time.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Leonardo Paz. I'm an IB English teacher, MIE expert, and Microsoft Showcase school leader here in my school, Colegio Alemán de Cali, which is a German school in Cali, Colombia. Today I want to tell you about an app that we're using for social emotional learning, which is called School Day, which works in a simple and effective way. It helps us know how our students are feeling, their needs, what's good, and what needs to be worked on. We use Microsoft Teams as our learning platform for classes. And School Day integrates with it at the same time very easily. It minimizes the logins, which makes our students be able to reflect and fill in the form of School Day faster. School Day, it works through emojis, and the students, through 20 questions that are asked, you can do it twice or 3 times a week. We get enough information through AI, which allows us to know how they're feeling, what they're eating, what their social emotions are like, what are they doing, what is happening correct at home, what is wrong. With this information, teacher, staffs, director, even the psychology department can take action, which is what we're doing exactly now. We're looking at all that data and we're seeing this group needs help, this group is doing good, this group is full of work, this group is not eating well, and we're taking action. So as homeroom teachers, which I am in this case, I tell my kids, look, you guys are doing good in this, we have to work in this, and that helps us. As you can see, its interface is user-friendly with graphs and information that help you understand what's happening. It also gives you feedback cards with information regardless of the situation, if it's positive or negative, giving you the chance to look at both sides of the situation. All right, students log in this way through Microsoft Teams. Now, one of the things that the app has, which is great, is that every time they fill in the app, it's anonymous. So the information we only get back from School Day gives us the results as the class. This helps our students feel more confident about how they're expressing their emotions and what is happening with the information. Students need to express their emotions, and School Day helps us to do this. With the information that we receive once a week, as a homeroom teacher or as a staff or as a coordinator, we get this information and we're analyzing it to see how we can improve. Because of COVID-19, which has really brought a burden upon most of us, this app has helped us to know what our students are feeling, how are they feeling, what can we do to help them. So just go ahead, give it a try, look for it, and School Day will help you. And also the feedback from our students is just positive. They love it. It's simple with its emojis. It can be done in 1 minute. And with our smaller kids, we're planning to have the parents read the question, and since they're emojis, the kids can fill it out automatically, and it can be a simple family fun activity as well. Thank you.
Wow, that was amazing. If you weren't feeling more optimistic and more excited at the start of this session, you must be by now. I would imagine you're feeling like me, enthusiastic, inspired, and optimistic, having heard those amazing ideas of how we ensure that every learner is seen, is heard, has a sense of belonging, and importantly, have choices and have a sense of control, because these things matter the most. We know that building educator capacity is really critical for developing social and emotional skills. So Microsoft has pulled together some amazing resources, some to call out for you just quickly. We have a collection of ideas from educators around the world for you to try Monday, not someday. There are courses from great partners like We. There are on-demand events from Mind Up, Goldie Hawn's Foundation on Mindfulness, resources from Headspace. So you'll find a whole pile of great resources to access here, including, of course, the Facebook group, 10,000 Educators Just Talking About Social and Emotional Learning. By now, don't forget, many of our speakers are available live on chat to answer any questions that you might have. I'll be joining them there in a few moments as well. So get active on the chat, get active on social. Research matters greatly, so make sure you reach out and grab the class of 2030 and Life Ready Learning and Emotion and Cognition in the Age of AI. You can find a whole lot more at the Microsoft Education website or by dropping into the Microsoft Education Centre. To make it easy for you, we've grabbed all of the goodness and put it onto one page that's just been updated. So this is our social and emotional learning page. You can get more of the good stuff there. So in closing, one of the things that's important to us is to remember that the greatest potential that technology has in education isn't just to digitize the curriculum content, but it's to humanize the learning process. We hope that you've enjoyed this webinar, superpowered by Bett, brought to you by Microsoft, and look forward to you joining us for another one.